Yo, what's up, man? If you want to advertise on my channel, send me an email at thepodcastwithsoul@gmail.com or hit me on the DM, the podcast with soul. If you're a lawyer, law firm, accounting firm, car wash, restaurant, pizzeria, real estate agent, insurance agent, mortgage company, get at me. The independent YouTubers, the independent TikTokers, the independent Instagrammers, the social media vloggers impacted the Diddy trial in a major way. They destroyed mainstream media. It was no competition. It wasn't even close. All of the big mainstream media channels got crushed by, how many of us was it down there, man? It might have been 50 of us down there, consistently on a daily basis. And they just couldn't compete. Mainstream media got destroyed, man, because you had some Instagrammers and TikTokers that didn't even go in the courtroom. They just showed up and stood outside the courtroom and went live for hours reporting on whatever, with the background of the court behind them, showing them gold doors on the screen, and then filming the defense attorneys coming in, Brian Steele, Nicole Westmoreland, filming the kids coming in out of the Sprinter van, filming the family coming in, collabing with other YouTubers and other TikTokers. Some of them stayed outside and just went live the whole time. And mainstream media couldn't compete with that. You know, then you had YouTubers like me, where it was no competition. I separated myself from everybody, even the YouTubers and the vloggers. I separated myself from everybody. I didn't even go by them. I used to walk up the street to Foley Square and do my lives up there, because I wanted, I was different, and I made a conscious decision to differentiate myself from any and everybody down there, and that was actually thrust upon me when I first got there, when everybody found out that I was pro-Puff. Nobody wanted nothing to do with me. No YouTuber, no Instagrammer, no TikToker, no vlogger, nobody, no mainstream media, nobody wanted nothing to do with the God. Because I was the only nigga down there pro-Puff the first week or two. And I was cool with that, But I made up my mind that I was gonna report the case the way I heard it. The way the testimony came down was the way I was gonna report it. And I made a commitment to that. I made an oath with myself that was what I was gonna do. And that's what I did. And and that's why my star shines so bright down there. But I used to be in the courtroom with the mainstream media girls from CNN and NBC and CBS and ABC. They couldn't compete, man. They couldn't compete. We were just, our numbers, if you look at the numbers of what the YouTubers were doing compared to the numbers that the established mainstream media companies were doing that have YouTube channels, we was killing them. We was killing them. Because they weren't as fluid. They couldn't be as fluid. They couldn't be as quick on the feet, right? I can go in and out of the courtroom when I wanted, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the mainstream media reporters were in a straitjacket, right? Their hands were tied behind their back. They couldn't report it the way it was going down. They had to report it down a certain narrative that that particular news channel was reporting. And that was that. You know, whereas with us independent content creators, we can go live when we want it, we can report what we wanted, we can say what we wanted, we can shape it the way that we want it. And you know, you just had everybody down there. You had white female independent content creators, black female independent content creators, you know, Caribbean female content creators, black male content creators like myself, other Caribbean black male content creators down there, you know, gay and lesbian content creators, straight heterosexual. You had everybody down there, man. Latino, Arabic, Asian, and we changed the game. We had a major impact on that case like you wouldn't believe. And I believe that we had a input in a what's the word I'm looking for? We had a impact on the jury, and definitely as far as public perception of how people started to view that case. You know, because as we got into week 3 and week 4, you know, like I say, I was already there from day one. But when we got into week 3, week 4, then even the vloggers and the social media influencers that were anti-Puff started coming to the middle because they saw me, they was watching me and the way I was reporting, and they began to listen to the testimony and was like, hold up, man. Nah, man, I can't say what they say. And a lot of them social media influencers and a lot of them vloggers were anti-Puff because they knew that was a way to get featured on the bigger mainstream media platforms, the ABC News at 5, the CBS, NBC. You know, they never featured me because I wasn't going along with their narrative. Had I been on the anti-Puff narrative, with the way I was reporting, with the excellence and the perfection with which I was reporting, I would have been on every station, and my YouTube numbers would have been 4 to 5 times what they were. But I wasn't in it for the money. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that some vloggers and some YouTubers and some social media, even though they may have been pro-Puff, they deliberately took the anti-Puff position on their social media because they knew that would bring them views that were 3, 4, 5, 6 times what they would get if they were pro-Puff. So they deliberately went anti-Puff for the money. You know what I'm saying? But the social media crew, man, we had a major impact on that trial. Hands down. I was even mentioned in court. I'm in the transcript. You understand? Them girls didn't want me down there. I was killing them. I destroyed the competition, which is what I do. I compete. And I compete at a high level. And when I come to be the best. I don't make no mistakes. I come to be perfect. I be perfect. We affected the outcome of that trial. Social media, and it would be wise for mainstream media to begin to hire independent social media influencers to work trials for them. because, you know, I go straight to my audience. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't even close, man. We killed mainstream media. Mainstream media's numbers were down. You know, they mostly focused on sensationalism, salacious lies, twisting of the testimony, selective reporting. But I refused to be involved in that kind of reporting. I was going to be the best, and that's what I set out to be. You know, I wasn't going to be nothing else. I wasn't gonna cave in. And I know I had an impact on that trial. I know for a fact that I had an impact on that trial, man. Because I began to tailor my content to the jury. I said, they letting the jury go home every day. Why are they doing that? And I rationalized that the reason they didn't sequester the jury, and when a jury is sequestered, that means that once they're selected to be on the jury, if they're sequestered, they're given a hotel room. All 18 jurors are given a hotel room at a hotel, all on the same floor. They removed the TVs from the hotel room. They removed the telephones. They don't allow them to read newspapers. They removed their phones, and they basically lock them up like a prison so that they can't be influenced at all by anything other than the testimony and the witnesses and what's going on at the trial. And when they didn't sequester them and they let them jurors go home every night, it may have been their strategy of the prosecution that we're going to let them go home every night, and they're going to listen to mainstream media, and they're going to see that the public opinion and the public perception and the overwhelming narrative is that Puffy's guilty, and that's going to help them come back with a guilty verdict. But it backfired, I believe, because I think the jury, after they heard the testimony, and I was inside the courtroom observer on the 24th floor in the overflow, I know the jury would go home and look at mainstream media and say, that's not what they said in court today. What is he talking about? What the fuck is they talking? That wasn't said in court. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And then I think they, perhaps, I don't know this to be certain, but I would like to believe that one or two of the jurors clicked on one of my videos and said, like, now this dude is telling it like it is, like it happened in court. He's telling the truth. And I would like to believe that they latched on to my channel and that I may have played a part in Puffy getting acquitted. I would like to believe that. I don't have proof of that. I don't have facts of that, but that's how I started making my content. I said, man, if any of them jurors is watching me, they're gonna see that I'm in stark contrast to what mainstream media is saying, and they already can see that mainstream media is lying. Hey, man. Oh, man. And maybe they will come to my channel for their information. So I just wanted to make this video. Social media won. We won. We won at that trial. We affected that trial. We beat mainstream media. We had an impact on that trial. And I think going forward in high profile trials like that, mainstream media is in trouble, and social media and independent content creators are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Sean G. Peace.